Let's talk information technology in Nigeria. There's no doubt that information technology and the new possibilities in digitization is the new hotbed of innovation all over the world. Nigeria is not being left behind, but just as the market possibilities are immense, so too are the challenges. Well, joining us to help us navigate the issues facing technopreneurs, we have as our guest Dimy Doresca, who's the director of the Institute for International Business at the University of Iowa. Thank you so much for joining us on the Global Business Report. Recently, you facilitated two mentoring sessions for more than 30 budding technopreneurs at a virtual program organized by the U.S. Consulate General in Lagos. How would you describe the experience?
The experience was just amazing. Thanks for having me on the show. Got to know some really enthusiastic entrepreneurs in the tech industry in Nigeria. They want to challenge the status quo. They want to introduce technology to solve some of the major problems that the country is facing with regards to healthcare, education, transportation, and even in business services. They want to use technology to solve this problem. And what I did with them, I went through the lean startup methodology process using the business canvas to help them vet their ideas, their business, so they can identify the risk right at an early stage to de-risk their business ventures and find ways to solve those issues that they want to solve using technology.
Fantastic. In recent years, there's been a growing interest in the startup scene in Nigeria. Yabacon Valley, today widely used to describe the thriving tech startup ecosystem in and around the Yaba suburb of Lagos. How do you think emerging tech startups in Nigeria can attract more investors?
I've always talked about creating the right ecosystem in a country. And the example that I've always seen in Nigeria is the way that University of Lagos, UNILAG, has managed to do that through their entrepreneurial center under the leadership of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogutembe, where he and the director of the center pledged to integrate entrepreneurship in all aspects of the fields of studies. Either you are in medicine, in engineering, in dentistry, etc., in business, entrepreneurship plays an important role. So in the Yabacon Valley, what I think we need to see the example of UNILAG, which is really coordination, which is really foster an environment where everybody with the business ideas can come and meet with mentors, meet with experts, and meet with people that can help them make connections with the investors. I think that's what needs to happen, because the investors are out there. There are lots of angels that are looking for opportunities to invest, but they need to find the right ecosystem. They need to find an ecosystem that is credible. They need to find an ecosystem that work with mentors and that really put the ideas of the entrepreneurs, of the promoters, right on the top, so they can really develop the ideas and work with the right people. And when I see an ecosystem, I see credibility. I see a lot of dynamism where you have competitions, you have interactions between mentors and all of that. And this is what I help the University of Lagos put in place through their entrepreneurial center over there. And we have, when we invited Professor Adebisi to come to University of Iowa and see John Papageno Entrepreneurial Center, how we create an ecosystem for young entrepreneurs and people in the community to really come and participate and create the ambience. And when he went back to Nigeria at the center, he implemented the same thing. And I think if we use that model at the Yabacon, the problem of finding investors, of connecting entrepreneurs with investors will not be an issue because the investors are out there. They are just looking for opportunities, lots of angels with lots of money, and they're just looking for the best way to collaborate.
Fantastic. So all about the ecosystem. Thank you for that. Repatriated startup founders are leading Nigeria's increased focus on innovation by integrating knowledge acquired abroad into the local ecosystem. How can emerging technopreneurs benefit from knowledge sharing and integration with international players? For instance, Silicon Valley.
Well, the Nigerian diaspora in the United States is very strong. You find Nigerians in a lot of key positions across the United States, including Silicon Valley. You find Nigerians that are leading lots of important tech startups. So I think a collaborations between what's going on in the country in Nigeria and the Nigerian diaspora in the United States will be great. Find a way to invite the Nigerians in the diaspora so they can come to the country and share knowledge and mentor the entrepreneurs, that the young entrepreneurs that are in the country that are trying to challenge the status quo using tech as an option. So it's a matter of collaborating with them, knowledge sharing, inviting the Nigerian diaspora that are being successful here. And I have some of them right here in Iowa City. And one of them is actually here at the University of Iowa. And he has developed a lot of tech solutions to solve in the healthcare. So it's a matter of really reach out to the Nigerian diaspora, ask them to share knowledge, ask them to mentor the entrepreneurs that are in the country that want to use tech to solve the major problems in the country. And I'm willing to collaborate with whoever wants to do that.
All right, excellent. Well, let's bring the government into this since we're talking collaborations. How can the government support and develop an ecosystem that promotes entrepreneurship, innovation, and technology learning?
Well, the government can engage into real dialogue with the existing players. And I just mentioned to you the University of Lagos, UNILAG, under the leadership of the current Vice Chancellor, Professor Agodimpe. They really understand the importance of entrepreneurship in the country. And that's why they grab the bulls by the horns. They install an ecosystem within the university. And I think that ecosystem can be replicated across the country, across all the government universities in the country. Ecosystem for entrepreneurship has started within university because remember, at universities, that's where all the free thinking happens, the continuous dialogues happen. And that's what University of Lagos understands. They see that there were already existing dialogues around entrepreneurship. And the Vice Chancellor, put that infrastructure in place to really encourage the dialogue by putting the ecosystem there. So that ecosystem can be replicated across universities in the country where the government can support that. And once that happens, I can tell you, you will see, instead of one Silicon Valley in Nigeria, many Silicon Valleys, because Nigeria has a lot of strong universities that can do that. And with a large youth population, this will be powerful, and you will see a lot of revolutions in the tech sector in the country. And as someone in higher education, I believe a strong ecosystem within the universities will be the way to go. And I've seen that at the University of Lagos.
All right, encouraging stuff. Well, so what about the role of technological innovation in spurring economic growth and development in developing economies like Nigeria?
There's no doubt. We've already seen it. We've already seen the fintech industry. I mean, just recently, a fintech company, young startup, managed to raise lots of money in Nigeria. And the fintech really is revolutionized the way that financial system is being talking in the world. The fintech industry is boosting what we call financial inclusion in countries like Nigeria. So that's one. And then the pandemic, if there is one thing that the pandemic has taught us in the past 16 months, is that technology can help in many ways, including education. E-learning was having an issue taking off in Africa, but during the pandemic, all the universities have managed to find a way to adapt, to introduce, e-learning platforms so they can continue teaching their students about healthcare. How about the growth of food delivery apps in Nigeria alone? E-commerce. And these have the opportunity to create millions and millions of jobs. And these have the opportunity to lift people out of poverty. That's why innovation, entrepreneurship is the way to get the youth really out of that mentality that they have to wait to find a government jobs or a job in the private sector. And I think by doing that, by installing this ecosystem across the universities where the youth can get together, innovate, create, ideate to come with real solutions to solve the problems, this will help them make an impact on themselves, and they will also make an impact in their communities by creating jobs, etc., etc.
Fantastic, fantastic. So many say Nigeria is being held back in being able to take advantage of new innovation in, say, robotics, blockchain, quantum computing, artificial intelligence. Where are the opportunities for collaboration in the leading edge aspects, and how do we get into that space?
Well, when you see robotics, you see artificial intelligence, that's going to go very far. But one thing you got to be cautious, though, is the blockchain, because a lot of countries are trying to jump on the bandwagon of blockchains without really understanding the system. I mean, one country in Latin America was trying to do that, El Salvador, and the World Bank kind of like step in and say, well, you're not quite ready yet. We need to do a few things before you can do that. So I think the blockchains has a lot of complication by itself that central banks across the world are trying to understand. So I would suggest that we are cautious about blockchains. However, when we talked about artificial intelligence, when we talked about Internet of Things, when we talked about, robotics, I believe the youth in Nigeria, those that are in science and technology, in STEM fields, they are quite ready to be involved in these. They are quite ready to collaborate with their peers in the United States. And that's why the U.S. consulate in Lagos, they want to boost this technopreneur idea where they invite a lot of women entrepreneurs that are involved in STEM. There were several women that participated in the training that I did with the U.S. consulate in Lagos. The STEM field, the women, I could say, they understand it much better among the entrepreneurs that I was working with last month, and I think put an ecosystem where you encourage young girls, young women to get involved in the STEM field, and you can put them in touch with their peers in the United States or in Europe, and I can tell you they are quite ready to do that. From what I saw when I was doing the training organized by the U.S. consulate in Lagos, which was quite a wonderful idea, and I congratulated the consulate for putting together such a program. I can tell you, the people, they are ready, the youth are ready, specifically the young women, they are ready to jump into the STEM field and make a difference.
Thank you so much, sir. Dimy Doresca, Director of the Institute of International Business at the University of Iowa. Thank you so much for taking us through what needs to happen to get tech to spur Nigeria's economy. Thank you so much.